try not to be loud. Are you on live?
I am. There's no one on but me. I turned it to mute.
Hunter, could you tell Hari we're live?
What does Mom need to know?
She's going to add comments if no one else comes. Okay, I'm going to turn on the volume. I don't think it matters.
Remember when you angle it.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Bible Story Time. I'm looking to see how many are on. And not everybody's come in yet. It is early in the morning. Often people want to come a little late in the morning. Some people are still having breakfast. There are people in this house right now who may have only just finished eating their breakfast. I'm wondering what you all had for breakfast. I am planning to have some leftover waffles for my second breakfast because I already had cereal or granola, really. Today, in Bible Story Time, we're going to be talking about something kind of wacky that happened when Jesus and his friends met up with an upset mom. Oh, hi, JT. Hi, Wilmers. Hi, Matt. I'm just going to repeat that last sentence, that today in Bible Story Time, we're going to talk about something weird and wacky that happened when Jesus and his friends met up with an upset mom. So now in the beginning, I thought I'd just invite you all to tell me about something that might have happened to you recently. Something wacky means something weird or strange. It can be interesting to share stories with friends about wacky things in your life. If something wacky has happened in your life and you want to share it, please type it up in the chat box. Meanwhile, I can tell you about something wacky in my life. Right now, actually. Right now. You don't know this, but I am sitting with a life-size tiger. Yes, it's true. Watch carefully. This is Bamba John. He may look ferocious and wild, but he's not. He's completely lovable and a real sweetie, and he really is life-size. There may be tigers bigger than him, but he's pretty nice and big. He lives in the house where I'm staying, and you don't need to worry about him because he's very kindly. One day, Jesus was traveling with his friends. This is the start of the story, so I hope you're all listening. JT has answered that is a very oddly cuddly tiger. Yes, he's got a lot of expression in his face too, JT. I don't see anybody sharing any wacky stories, So I'm just going to continue with the story of what happened with Jesus and his friends. One day, Jesus was traveling with his friends. They left their home country of Israel and went to another country called Phoenicia. When they got there, a woman came towards them and called to Jesus, asking him to help her daughter, who was very sick. First picture, please. Oh my goodness, she was calling for help. That's what the sign says. You can see how sad someone can be when they need help. She was upset about her sick daughter. There are all kinds of different ways people and kids can be sick. Their bones can break, their brains can boggle, and their bodies can get a virus. I don't know about you, but I've had some of these things happen to me. When kids are really sick, their parents will usually try super hard to help them. The woman from Phoenicia was trying super hard to help her daughter. This mom was trying so hard that instead of being shy around strangers, she was calling loudly to them for help. And I am just going to read some of the chat. Oh, JT shared something very wacky. He said he saw a couple of wild turkeys walking down Mass Ave in Harvard Square. That totally counts as wacky. Oh, well, JT does say that it's pretty normal for Cambridge these days. But it is odd to see, wild animals in Harvard Square. I'm not counting students. This mom was trying so hard to get help. And here's where Jesus did something wacky. Instead of answering this call for help, he was silent. He didn't answer. What was that about? Here's a picture showing surprise about something wacky going on. Like when you want to ask, what was that about? This is the second picture. If someone called to you for help, wouldn't you want to answer? Was Jesus ignoring her? Was Jesus ignoring cries for help, or was he just waiting for something? While Jesus was being all silent and the woman kept calling to him for help, Jesus's friends, the disciples, were looking at each other like, what is going on here? Second picture, please. Huh? Sorry. Actually, I would think I was supposed to show the second picture. This is what Jesus's friends were looking like. Later on, they'll look like this, you'll see. Now, finally, the disciples asked Jesus to tell the mom to stop bothering them and go away and leave them alone. Why did they do that? Why didn't one of them offer to help her? Why didn't they ask Jesus to help her? Now, let's see. Third picture, please. Why were they like this? And when we hear what they did, we're kind of like this too, huh? She wasn't one of them. She didn't come from the same country as them, but she came from a neighboring country and she was in trouble. Was she their neighbor? Wasn't she their neighbor? Didn't Jesus teach people to love not only their neighbors, but even their enemies? Doesn't love mean you want to help someone? Doesn't love mean that you don't ignore someone in trouble? Doesn't love mean you don't tell someone calling for help to just go away? First picture, please. When someone's calling for help, do you tell them to just go away and stop bothering you with all that crying? Here's this mom who's in trouble, and Jesus is ignoring her, and his friends are wanting her to go away. What was that about? Second picture, please. What was that about? Let's see what happens next. Jesus finally speaks to this crying mom and tells her, well, I'd love to help you out, but my mission is only to help the people in my home country of Israel. Now, what was that about? Jesus talks about love and healing all the time. He said, you don't refuse to heal because it's the Sabbath or a holiday. He has grouped up love and help and healing together. He said this kind of love is not only more important than all kinds of rules, but that in fact the rules exist in order to help this kind of love work in the world. But here's Jesus telling the upset mom, I came traveling to your country and you begged me for help for your child, but first I ignored you, and then I'm telling you about this rule that I'm supposed to help the folks in my country only. What was that about? Second picture. What was that about? And what happens next? Does the upset mom say, oh, well, no worries, and go away? Well, as someone who is a mom and who has sometimes been upset about sick kids, I can tell you that that's not really how upset moms usually act. The upset mom in the story does not go away. In fact, she does the opposite. She comes even closer. And she kneels down and she starts begging even harder, saying, help me. And what does Jesus do then? Does he say, oh, all right, you talked me into it, I'll help? No. Does he say, fine, whatever, I'll help you? No, he still doesn't help. He keeps arguing. And not just that, but he says something that sounds plain rude and insulting. And he mentions the idea of something being fair. What was that about? Jesus doesn't usually talk about what is fair and what is unfair. Instead, he talks about love and mercy. Or as somebody said to me, he's more into equity than equality. He doesn't usually go around saying stuff like, let's divide everything equally. Instead, he says, give to each person according to what they need, not what they deserve. He says, it doesn't matter what they deserve. What matters is what they need. And he never talks about there not being enough stuff to feed everyone. He says the opposite. He says, don't worry, our parent God will make sure we have more than enough. We'll get so much from God, it will be more than our cup or ourselves can hold. But in this story, when the upset mom says to him, please help me, thank you. He answers her by saying, sorry, I can't help you because it wouldn't be fair. He says, there wouldn't be enough for the children of my country, Israel, if I spent some help on people from your country who are totally unimportant, like dogs wandering around who I don't even happen to know. Is Jesus really saying, I'm just here to make my country great again, and the folks of my country are more important than the folks of your country, even though I am here visiting your country and accepting your hospitality? What was that about? Second picture, please. Oh, what was that about? What is Jesus doing? I'm so confused. I don't know if you're confused. Anyway, does the upset mom get insulted and say, you're mean, go back to your own country, I'll find somebody nice to help me? She doesn't. She doesn't get hurt or insulted. It's as though she knows Jesus needs something from her before he can truly help her. It's almost as though, even though she's never met him in person before, she trusts that he will help her if she waits for him and listens to him. Instead of getting all insulted and stomping away and slamming a door behind her, she comes up with a line that totally rocks. It's both funny and it answers all of the objections Jesus was bringing up, even the one about the dogs. She tells him, okay, even an unimportant wandering dog can eat the bits that fall from the table the kids are eating at. I don't know if you've ever eaten at a table with kids, or even more extreme, babies in high chairs. Those folks, the babies and the kids, can drop a lot of food right on the floor. And if there are any dogs wandering around, they are going to have a great doggy feast, cleaning up under the chair or high chair. Fourth picture, please. Yeah, this dog is having a feast right there. And this person over here is dropping stuff down. In our story of Jesus and the disciples and the upset mom, I always imagine when Jesus hears the mom's answer, Jesus throwing up his arms like someone has scored in a game and giving a cheer. Whoa, yes, this upset mom totally gets it. She gets that love and help are available all the time from God, not just available when the rules allow it. And love and help are for everybody, not just the folks from your own country or the folks of your own style of religion. And love and help and healing are there for dogs and other animals. And this upset mom gets that there's always enough love and help and healing from God to go around. Always enough. And Jesus says, whoa, look at that. You totally get it. You want it? You got it. Your kid is completely healed right now, immediately done. And you don't need to worry about a thing because you really get what God is about. You really understand this love and help and healing stuff and how it's supposed to work. Rock on! Woo! And after that, Jesus returns to Israel. Now, I'm going to use my glasses to read your chat. Ah, I love the dog emojis. So now it's question time. I have so many questions for you all that it would take me forever to ask them, because I really want to know what you think about what happened in this story. But we don't have enough time, so I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. Why did Jesus start being silent and not answering the upset mom? Why was he silent? Any ideas? Anybody? Bamba John, you got any ideas? Look, he's silent too. Write your answers in the chat if you can figure out why Jesus was silent when she first asked for help. Anne Wilmer says she doesn't know. Oh, Matt notes that the tiger is somewhat stoic. Yes, he is. He is, but he's sympathetic, I think. Yeah. It's Patrick and Donal that are answering on Anne's computer or laptop, and they're saying they don't know. I'm wondering if, my own feeling is that he was waiting for something to happen, waiting for somebody to get the idea. Sometimes when I ask a question, it would be better if I waited longer, because then there would be more time for people to think and answer. Oh, another friend of mine, Jamin, says he thinks Jesus was testing her. It's possible. Sometimes when people ask quiz questions or test someone else, they could wait and see what the person says. And maybe they're not going to give any hints. Here's my second question. And feel free to answer my first question about why Jesus was silent, like the kind and lovable Bamba John. Feel free to answer that, even though I'm going to ask the second question, which is, why did Jesus seem to argue with her and make objections to her begging for help? Why didn't he just help? Why was he like, oh, wait, what about the rules? But you're not my country person. Why did he raise those objections? Why did he argue? Why didn't he just say, hi, I know you're upset about your daughter, I'll help. Why did he argue? What's that about? Huh? So I don't know if it's Matt or someone in his house, but they suggest that maybe Jesus was having a bad day. We all have bad days, so I'm sure Jesus had bad days. In fact, one might say that Good Friday was kind of one of Jesus's bad days. Oh, and JT mentions that maybe he was overwhelmed by how much help all the people in his country, Israel, needed. And how the people were in such need of help, they were constantly crowding Jesus and asking. Oh, it says here that Patrick argues about the rules all the time just because it's fun to argue. Lots of people enjoy arguing. Oh, Jamin says he wanted to really know if she got it. He was checking up on what she was thinking. Oh, and Bethany says she needs some more time to think about it. Why Jesus seemed to be arguing. Oh, Donald points out that he doesn't know if Good Friday could be a bad day because it's called Good Friday, not Bad Friday. That's a good point. What if a day is called good and it's bad? I don't know. Yes, hi Bethany, hi Gotti family. It's nice to see you here. Okay, feel free to keep answering the questions about why Jesus was silent and why he argued, but I have a last question for you before our time here ends. Here's my last question. My last question is, do you think the disciples learned anything from watching Jesus take a situation and turn it upside down and inside out, and make it a living idea that would last forever, up until now at least, and probably further on, last forever instead of just dismissing it and going, help, 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 I solved it. Do you think the disciples learned anything from that? Help, solve, or go back and forth with somebody, having a conversation, asking questions, seeing what they say, waiting? Do we sometimes all kind of jump in to do something before we listen to someone else? Sometimes. Autumn says that she thinks the disciples, Jesus's friends, did learn something, but she's not sure what they learned. And it's possible that they even felt that they had learned something because, sometimes they started out like this, and then it's possible that they kind of felt they learned something, but they weren't sure what they learned. That happens to me all the time. JT is saying that he liked Autumn's response. Sometimes it's good not to be sure, just because sometimes when you're sure, it kind of cuts things off right there and they don't grow and develop. Okay, well, it's now time to say goodbye. I hope you all liked today's story. To say goodbye or wish each other peace, we can hold up a hand and say peace. Here's my helper hand. Or we can type peace in the chat box, or you can just wish peace for everyone in your heart. Here's another hand. Yeah. Peace. Goodbye, everybody. Be well. Enjoy the day. Bomba John wishes peace too, but
God, no!
See you next week. Uh-oh.
Ouch! Oh my gosh.
Everything's really fine, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
No. I tried to make us off, but